Hi, I'm Dr. David Dobson. Welcome to Conversations. Today, my guest is Mahashweta Chakrabarty. Mahashweta is a PhD candidate in geography at Banaras Hindu University. Her PhD research looks into access to menstrual health and hygiene resources in India from a geographical perspective. We will discuss her research today. It's a pleasure to have you on my show, Mahashweta.
Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity, Dr. Dobson. Thank you.
Mahasweta, what brought your research interest to menstrual health and hygiene?
Thank you for this question, Dr. Dobson. So, growing up in India, I have always seen menstruation as a taboo topic. You can't discuss it openly within your own community.
Mm,
So, menstruation cannot be discussed openly in public. Women and girls cannot discuss it. Their problems, their needs cannot be discussed in public. So, I have seen this for a very long time. And this silence often lead to the cycle of misinformation,
mm,
negligence. So, when I began my PhD, when I start exploring the research area of menstrual health and hygiene, I have identified that menstruation is not only a sexual and reproductive issue,
mm,
it is also a issue of women's mental health,
mm,
education, economic
mm,
productivity.
mm,
So, poor menstrual health and hygiene can lead to school dropouts,
mhm,
also reduce workplace participation, or increase the risk of reproductive health issues. Despite its significance, the research in menstrual health and hygiene remain um, dirt in India. So
mm,
then thought that I will start my PhD on this very topic and
mm,
break the silence and taboo.
mm. Mahasweta, for your PhD, you look at menstrual health and hygiene resources from a geographical perspective. Why is that?
Interesting question. Thank you. So India is a very vast and diverse country. It's
Mm,
not uniform geographically, right? So
yeah.
there is diversity in socioeconomic perspective, there is diversity in cultural practices,
Mm,
infrastructural availability is varying significantly across the region, right? India
mm,
has 28 states and 707 districts within it, and now it's home of world's largest population.
mm,
So, because of this immense diversity, it is quite
mm,
evident that the resources essential to manage the menstruation will not be distributed evenly across the
mm,
region. So, that is
mm,
when I thought that I will look at menstrual health and hygiene from a geographical perspective. I will
mm,
locate which region are lacking behind.
mm. Can you share how did you conduct your research?
Yeah. At first, I want to tell the main variable of my study, the
Mm,
main variable of my interest,
mm,
that is the access to menstrual health and hygiene resources,
okay.
which I defined using six components. First
Mm,
component is knowledge of menstruation.
mm,
Second one is use of hygienic period products.
mm,
Hygienic period products mean sanitary napkins,
mm,
tampons, or
mm,
menstrual cups.
mm,
Third one is supportive environment during menstruation.
mm,
This supportive environment during menstruation has three more components.
mm.
One is regular availability of the water within the household premises.
Okay.
Second one is the availability of improved unshared toilet within the household premises. And third
Mm,
one is availability of soap and water at the hand washing points. So
mm,
by combining all these components, I have
mm,
created a composite MHH variable.
mm,
Women who have all these six components
mm,
available are
mm,
considered of having comprehensive MHH resources.
mm,
But if a woman,
mm,
if she doesn't have any
mm,
one of these components, then she is
mm,
considered as having inadequate access to menstrual health and hygiene resources, because
mm,
all of these components are equally important to manage
mm,
their menstruation.
mm,
By combining these components, by creating this variable, then
mm,
I have identified the geographical disparity of these variables access.
mm,
So I
mm.
have followed a top down approach for that. For
Okay.
top down approach of my research, I have aligned it with India's administrative hierarchy. So, using National Family Health Survey data, I have identified national level insights. Then I step down to the state level disparities in access to menstrual health and hygiene.
Okay.
Then, to delve deeper into it, I analyzed the district level disparities with the help of NFHS data. And up to district level, we get the insights from NFHS. To identify the sub-district level or block level disparities, we can't get any data available. So then that's when I conducted my field work. I am still conducting my field work for that.
Okay. Okay. Since you're mentioning the geography, I was wondering, did you notice that perhaps in the I guess the city areas, the urban areas, perhaps those six checklists, these components may be okay to have in household, like access to water, soap, and sanitary resources.
The picture is completely different in rural and urban areas. Okay,
Yeah.
so urban households have are blessed with these resources, but rural
Mm,
counterparts doesn't even know what is menstruation. They don't use the term menstruation. They
mm,
use it like shorir kharab, that is ill health, or mashik or monthly. They don't
mm,
even know what is menstruation. If I ask the screening question to them, do you
mm,
menstruate, they are like,
mm,
what is menstruation? They don't know. They just ignore your question.
mm,
So there is disparities for sure.
mm, mm,
From a very long period of time, rural women doesn't participate in workspace. Like, they are they are managing their households and doing household works. So then, if they are buying pads, they need money for it. But to manage menstruation, if you need money, you will burden the earning member of your household. So they are using some alternatives, like using clothes, old clothes, torn clothes, and reusing and washing and reusing again. So this is the way. Sometimes women also use mud to absorb the blood. So this is a very unhygienic way to say. Also, I have seen some women who use napkins to absorb the blood. So a very pathetic condition.
mm. Okay. Mahasweta, how did you collect the data?
Okay, so the main data source for my study is National Family Health Survey 5
Mm,
dataset.
mm,
It is collected by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare India.
mm,
This dataset is also known as Indian Demographic and Health Survey, Indian
mm,
DHS, and it
mm,
is collected every 5 years in India, and it
mm.
has various demographic and health indicators.
Okay.
The main basis is NFHS 5, but that still I am collecting my primary data. So for my primary data collection, I have selected 586 sample. So I have designed my sampling strategy using probability proportional to size method, PPS
Okay.
method.
Okay.
Then within each selected cluster, I am using systematic random sampling method to
Okay.
select the respondents, and it's still going on.
Okay. Nice. So for your study, because of obviously we mentioned India is very vast, big. So are you focusing on a specific region of India,
I
or
have
you?
chosen one district
Okay, all
among
state. Okay.
707 districts.
Okay. Okay, and that's what you're doing a data. So I guess this is primarily surveys, or you're doing some sort of a observations or
No, this is
ethnographic
purely
study.
based on questionnaire based
Okay.
survey.
Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. Um, you discussed some of the issues of the access to menstrual resources and hygiene products. What are some of the challenges you face while doing your research?
Yeah, thank you for this question. The main two problems I am facing during collecting my data, first one is making the adolescent girls comfortable with the questions.
Mm,
I have some portion of women who are aged 15 to 18 who are
mm,
still adolescent,
mm,
and making them comfortable discussing these taboo topics within their household premises is a challenge for me.
mm,
Like, they are not even used. I have told you that they are not even used to the term menstruation. So identifying what they refer menstruation as, So I am trying to capture how they perceive menstruation and what they think about it is a challenge for me. And also, um, another problem I am facing is extracting the truthful information among them from them. So participants know that this is the right way to use products. These are the hygienic way, but they may not use it. But to portray them in positive light, they say that yes, I do this, I do that, but I can feel that they are telling lies from their from cross questioning them or anything. So there is a issue of social desirability bias, where participants know that this is the wrong thing I am doing, but telling the opposite of their practicing. So yeah, this is the another problem. This is
Mm.
another problem.
So while you're doing these surveys and collecting data, do you do everything by yourself or you have a team of researchers
No, no,
helping you
no.
out?
I am doing everything by myself so far, and wanted to have a team, but I can't rely on someone with this sensitive topic, because
Mm.
not everybody will have this kind of empathy or
Mm.
um, you called liking for this subject. So everyone can't go and
Mm.
ask this information and ask
Mm.
them.
And how are you meeting your participant?
Uh, at first, by going to every household of a village, I am just asking some screening questions for
Mm.
the household mapping listing purpose. Okay.
Mm.
So after household mapping and listing, I am revisiting that village, and by systematic random sampling, I am told you,
Mm.
I am again visiting them. So the girls are visiting me twice. So they are already comfortable with me. So by
Mm.
this process I am doing so far.
Mm. Good. I was just wondering, you doing everything by yourself, and reaching this over 500 participant, that's look like a
Yeah.
huge task to
It's
undertake.
a huge task. Already 3 months
You
has
did
gone
practice?
from my
Okay.
PhD. I am still on the field.
Okay. Uh, of course, you are still collecting data and learning from your research. Can you share what did you learn from your research so far?
Okay. So I have already completed the secondary data analysis part for my
Yeah,
PhD. Okay.
yeah,
That is based on NFHS 5 data. So I
yeah.
can share my insights based on NFHS 5 data set.
Yes, please.
So from my research, I have learned that menstrual health and hygiene resources in India remains highly inadequate and uneven. From NFHS 5, I have identified that only 22% of women has access to all these six resources. Okay. And this percentage varies significantly from districts to districts.
Mm,
I'm coming to the geographical perspective. The
mm,
southern region of the India is having higher access, where the
mm,
central and northern parts of India are having lower access. There can be some reason like lack of awareness. Many women in in central and northern India um, have do not have any idea how improper management of menstruation can lead to reproductive tract infections or any other health risks. So also there are cultural perceptions which vary widely in central and northern and southern India. Like in northern and central India, menstruation is still a taboo. It's still a secret thing of women's life. But in contrast, in southern India,
mm,
menstruation is celebrated like a festival. Like when a
mm,
woman reaches her puberty, then it is like marking a milestone, and they celebrate it because this is the time when women are able to bring life into the world. So they just celebrate it. So there is a huge difference in cultural perceptions.
mm,
Additionally, I have identified some key determinants of
mm,
which influence access to menstrual health and hygiene resources, like women's education, household wealth, exposure to mass media, especially exposure to TV, internet, and urban place of residence are positively associated with better access to menstrual health and hygiene resources. So these are my findings.
Mm, very good. I want to ask you, you mentioned there's some differences in the north and south. Why is that difference?
Two things I can mention. First one
Mm,
is the mindset of the families and the
yeah.
women.
Mm,
Second one is the policies um, to benefit the menstruating women. Like there are some policies like Pudhu Yogam in Tamil Nadu, where the pads are freely distributed to school going girls. And also
mm,
similar interventions are there in Kerala and Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. So some interventions are working perfectly in southern
mm,
region. So
mm,
same similar interventions should be replicated to northern
mm,
Indian regions as well.
mm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Mahasweta, what do you hope to contribute with this research?
Okay, thank you. Not just with my PhD research, but
Yeah,
also through the research I have already published in
yeah,
journals. I
okay.
want to create a meaningful impact.
Mm,
Like I have already identified and published in my journal articles that improper use of hygienic period products can lead to reproductive tract infections.
mm,
Also, I have identified that the socioeconomic disparities in the use of hygienic period products is not decreasing or reducing significantly in India. Also, I have developed a comprehensive index to measure the access to menstrual health and hygiene resources. So these articles are freely and openly available in the internet.
mm,
So also I make sure that whenever I get a chance to go to a conference, I talk about this very topic.
mm,
And I want to break the silence around menstruation. And
mm,
it is good to see that there are already some male researchers in India who are working in this field.
mm,
And it's an immense pleasure for me.
mm,
And from the geographical perspective, I have already identified some low access districts in India.
mm,
So
mm,
I hope policymakers will focus on that region, and
mm,
these areas will change in near future.
mm,
Also, a piece of good news is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has formulated a draft menstrual health and hygiene policy few years back, and I had an opportunity to be a part to provide feedback on it. So
mm,
I hope my research is already contributing in
mm.
certain way.
Yeah, nice. So I want to especially talk about your geographical perspective. So what is your unique contribution to this knowledge?
Okay. At first, I have identified that in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, and also in some parts of northeastern region, there are
Mm,
some districts
mm,
which which have access to menstrual health and hygiene products less than 10%. Less than 10% women has access to these resources. So this is alarming. Okay. Already more than half of Indian women does not use these hygienic period products exclusively, like they use in combination, like if menstruation lasts for 4 to 5 days, they are using clothes for the later 3 days and using hygienic products for first day, because it will cut off the economic constraint. So this is the problem, and this is my finding. I have a section in my primary data collection process where I am asking women about their knowledge of menstruation.
mm,
So I am asking the normal duration of menstruation. What do you think the normal duration of menstruation? What do you think? What is ovulatory cycle? And
mm,
the basic menstruation question.
mm,
They don't know anything.
mm,
Mainly the adolescent girls. Even I have identified that even after marriage, they don't know about ovulatory cycle, their fertility window, fertile period. They don't know anything. So it's a problem.
Mahasweta, what is your advice to future researchers on this topic?
My advice to future researchers would be, first is, if you are working in this very topic, please be empathetic. Because when you are asking a girl about her menstruation, you are asking a very personal question. And the practice she is practicing now is practiced by her mother, their grandmother as well. So you have to understand the community, you have to understand the family background, and you have to connect through heart to heart. You can't just impose anything. You think that this is right and you are imposing it to someone. You have to understand their background as well. Second is, there is a misconception that menstruation is a women's issue, but it is not the full picture. There are transgender men, non binary individuals, and other assigned female at birth who also menstruates. Okay, so menstrual management among them is not explored and under researched. So there is still a scope of identifying how they manage to manage their menstruation. Also, several researchers have worked around the world on how menstrual management is done among the individuals with disabilities. But there is still limited research is there in India. So future researchers can explore this area as well.
Nice. Thank you. So, Mahasweta, what's next for you?
I think I have still a lot to learn and explore in my professional journey. At first, I want to develop some more skill. I want to improve my research skill by learning qualitative research analysis in future, because qualitative analysis is something you can capture this kind of um,
Mm,
personal issues, right?
mm,
Also, I have a plan to learn new softwares like Python.
mm,
And also, I want to continue my work on women's health area and
mm,
focus on the under researched area.
mm,
And I want to contribute to the policy and action that bring real changes.
mm,
And I want to mention that I want to make sure that this journey is not just about my academic success, but
mm,
also about making differences in the lives of those who need it the most.
mm.
So, this is my future plan.
Thank you for your time and sharing this important research you're doing, Mahasweta. And I wish you all the best in completing your
Thank
PhD
you.
and the future work.
Thank you so much.